Good morning, it's Wednesday, and I'm casting love from the Serious Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Hump Day. Namaste today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my mission is to stand in my heart and help others stand in theirs. This webisode is for Wednesday, December 9th, 2015, and today the Great Human Walk has progressed to step 17, Sagittarius. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Such a pleasure to be of soul service to you. Thank you so much for logging in. It makes a great part of my day. And thank you, everyone, for leaving comments. I go and check my comments every day on soulgarden.tv. It's my morning ritual, if you want to know. So I really feel like we're all together there. And there's a chat room, too, where you can just kind of leave your comments on the sidewalk there and say you're there. I'd really love to meet everyone and see your faces if I could. So today, for your today's vibe is sunny and sharp, I do believe. That's because at the end of the day, as I like to say, Saturn is what rules the day. So step 17 adds to an 8. That's a Saturn. Saturn will be a decisive tool today. We'll be deciding what we're committing to. So you might be going around the day kind of deciding, kind of trying to weigh back and forth. Emotions are in Scorpio, so we're feeling repercussions. And because the moon is in the third decan, or what I call Act 3 of Scorpio, this means that we're projecting into the future our emotional consequences. So you might be spaced out. Pay attention. Psychic awareness is quite strong today. Step 17, that 7 in the 17, is our intuition. So our intuition is strong. And when you're a person that ignores your intuition, that's the type of person that will zone out in the car while they're driving, or who will have really crazy dreams because you don't take the time and space on Earth while you're awake to see what's up. Now, emotionally, it's a distinctly two-part day. For those watched over in my personal Sensei service, I will text you when the moon shifts into a new sign. But when it moves into Sagittarius, it's officially countdown to light cast day. What was that, Bella? She has something to say there. Yeah, I agree. So, the second part of the day might be serious, might be joyful, then serious. So you might be like feeling kind of bipolar today. That's part of the moon in Scorpio. It's like you're not crazy. You're just processing some heavy shift. And on the second half of the day, as the moon moves into Sagittarius, it's a day where things get more and more and more serious as the moon approaches Saturn, which will happen in the next 24 hours. So it's a double whammy. If you think about it, we have step 17, which adds to an 8, decision, and then the moon crosses Saturn, which means Saturn is the decision maker. So we emotional also. I would not be surprised if people decide and cut away. This is kind of that time where if you've ever dated a Sagittarius, they go off to the bathroom and never come back. That's because somewhere along that path, they decided they weren't coming or whatever. They do that stuff. So funny. So that brings us to, one last thing in today's vibe, the mind. Mercury's at step 29, so the mind will be ridiculously tested today. That means that your mind, the devil will tempt you back. That means you'll hear from the ex. That means that, all those things that could like mentally pull you off track. Stay focused like that Sagittarius arrow. Stay focused like the Sagittarius arrow on what you believe and only on what you believe, okay? And nothing else intellectually for just the next 24 hours. So tell the smartass, okay, to keep its eyes, do Gemini, on the road. And that brings us now to today's topic. And since we're in the mid degrees of Sagittarius, which for those of you who've just signed up or joined up, hello, thank you, or just discovered me, such a pleasure. Please thank the person that referred you to the show. For me, give them a big hug. But today's topic is along the lines of different belief structures. And I've been this week talking about things that I believe because I'm wanting to foster a conversation with my brothers and sisters in our community at soulgarden.tv about what should it be? I mean, that's what Sag is after all. It's not till Capricorn that we'll start making those decisions. So today's topic is, I believe all souls are created equal. And this goes, of course, into the Declaration of Independence. For starters, I think that that line is miswritten. With all due respect, Mr. Jefferson, I believe all souls, not all men, are created equal. The Declaration of Independence refers to God so many times. So many times. How many times refer to God? One nation under God. That's our Declaration of Independence. Our Pledge of Allegiance, by the way. But I was noticing all the references to God in the Declaration of Independence and in the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Lots of God stuff. But the first line is all men are created equal? What's that about? You know what I mean? But so I think the Declaration of Independence, I don't know if we can be rewritten, but perhaps a new declaration of soul dependence of our own soul, right? Dependent on what? Our own soul dependence. And I think that all souls are created equal. That's my belief. What do you say? Now, here's the idea. Maybe you don't. I mean, this is a deeper question than it appears, my friends, on the books. When I say all souls are created equal, what I'm saying is, no one is born in sin. I don't believe in original sin. There is no original sin. People are not sin. God's children are beautiful. I think that souls have past life memories of tragedies. And if that soul is raised in a rough world, that will make the soul bitter on the inside. So I think we have past life memories that we must bring to peace. But I believe all souls are created equal. All souls die equal as well. All right, I think all souls are equal at the end of the day. So this leads me to today's 5 o'clock question. Curious what you think. How did you feel growing up? Did you feel equal growing up? Did you feel equal growing up? How so or not? All right. And the follow-up question, how do you overcompensate now in your life for feeling equal or unequal? So all souls are created equal. Well, I didn't feel very equal in lots of ways. I mean, mostly because my family moved every 2 years. We were a nuclear family. Literally, my dad built nuclear plants in the 80s, and part of being a Jedi Knight, it's a long story. But long story short, we moved every 2 years. So I always felt like the outsider. I always felt like I didn't feel like I was a part of the gang. I always felt like a stranger. My brothers were my best friends because not many people really liked the new guy. Like kids just didn't have the coping skills to deal with it. So I felt unequal. I always felt like, the guy, the small guy, and plus, I was Wateki, so I was always the end of the class. So I was the new guy in the back row, but it did put me in this weird observation perspective of watching things and, yada, yada, yada. I saw lots of teachers working, and I think I became a critic of teachers from having so many. I moved every 2 years. How do I overcompensate now? Geez. I think it's pretty obvious. Soul Garden, Love and Light, like this all bring humanity together. This is my broken family. This is the fact that I feel broken, that I never had a community. This is that I'm overcompensating by trying to bring it back to, bring the whole world together. Because I think inside I need a world to come together. I need a family. My family was also broken that way. So I definitely see my overcompensation now. All right. The point here in today's topic of I believe all souls are created equal is to look at the consequences of what happens when we're not treated equally. In some cases, you could argue that this is a good thing, but I got to tell you, I've suffered horribly and done horrible, things to myself that I didn't need to do to myself because I thought I was less than. So I think it's dangerous for us to not treat all souls equally. And even when souls are, quote, bad for doing bad things, right, they're still our brother and our sister, I think. And that's, I think, an important step to world peace. So, without further ado, let's go into what I'm going to call our Zenden in prayer. Now, Zenden is right here. This is your Zenden, your heart. It's our little secret word for our heart, okay, to go into Zenden. This is my Zenden, too. I create a protected space for my Zenden. I bring my little doggy little studio dog with me for the Zenden. And I want to say also a little prayer to you every day too, just a little one. And if you don't know what prayer is, I mean, everyone knows what prayer is, but it's like if you want to know my opinion on what prayer is, I believe we live in a spiritual democracy. It's a collective consciousness. So spiritual will does make things happen. And that's what black magic is. Black magic is that no one's claimed no one's claimed control over this energy. So dark energy tries to go in and control it. Prayer is love voting for an outcome. Okay, prayer is love voting for an outcome. So your love is voting for an outcome. And trust me, the universe hears it. I believe that the more love equals the more outcome. And I think love works far better than fear, which is what the dark uses to control. So consciousness must be actively pursued with prayer. And you must tell consciousness, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, and that's what I believe prayer is. You could also meditate, you could set intentions with your spirit open. You have to populate conscious with your intention. If you don't, some asshole will. Okay? So that said, today, for anyone watching, I pray for your highest good. And I mean that my heart just goes out to you so that your highest good comes into order today. In some cases, that maybe things fall apart. Because sometimes when we pray for our highest good, the things that are not good for us fall apart. So if you agree and resonate with that, you can accept my love, and I hope and pray for your highest good today. Now let's go into my guides and see what they have to say for you. And also, of course, turn on our cool clapper overhead projector. Okay, so we had a little bit of a air flight over there, so it gave me an extra second to go within and to send some more love. And I've got a little holiday happiness here with our overhead projector in class today. Well, going into myself, I asked, what would you like to talk about? And Spirit said Mars and Venus. So Mars is at step 15, Libra. Okay. Now the 5 does mean that our mind is very important in that equation. The mind is I think. And so our mind is currently directing Mars. So your dumbass, which is your ego, is being instructed by your smartass. Now those two, if those go out drinking, it's bad. Okay, at least in my case, yes, I am projecting, but it's like I can't let my smartass and my dumbass get together because bad things happen. The smartass suggests something, the dumbass is like, yeah, and before I know it, I'm waking up naked somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding, of course. I was kidding. Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio is letting out secrets. At step 5, which is also at step 5. So look at that. Spirit is telling me this. In other words, now Venus is what we open to, all right? So Venus is, this is what we open to, and this is what we push. That's basically the Venus and Mars. Or you can think about it as Venus is what we pull in, Mars is what we push. Venus is what we pull, Mars is what we push. Big bang, big crunch. Inhale, exhale, right? Same kind of stuff. So Venus is way up in Scorpio, meaning that we are pulling deep from the depths of Scorpio, which is all the way to the line or the deepest part of our subconscious. Basically, wherever the wall is, Scorpio rules to the wall, okay? So pulling in deep truths out of Scorpio as we push for balance in our relationships, all right? So it's the push for balance that pulls the truth. It's the push for harmony in relationships and harmony and peace. It's this push for peace that pulls out the truth. Or you could say, you want the peace to happen, pull out the truth. All right? But I think these 2 5s are what Geminis are thinking about. Now, it's a 2-part day, like I said in today's vibe. The moon begins in Scorpio, but then moves into Sagittarius. And as I said, it will cross over Saturn, which is at its homegrown number, step 8. So Saturn is super serious, totally serious, like a hungover drag queen in Heat. I don't know where I came up with that, but that is serious, right? I always think of Saturn as a drag queen. I don't know why. I know it's a male, but it's just such a bitchy male. But Saturn is making some big decisions. And that as the moon approaches Saturn tonight, It takes the moon goes 1 degree every 2 hours, so it'll be kind of late. But we will have our feelings made up. We will have decided how we feel about something. And Saturn's in Sag, so we're deciding how we feel. But this feeling directly relates to a belief. It ain't no simple feeling, folks. It's a big feeling that leads to big, big things. Now the Sun is, of course, at step 17. That 7 is God at play, and it adds to an 8, which makes I decide. So we will come to a big decision here, and we will come to an emotional decision here. Isn't that a beautiful ballet, how the universe occurs? And what is that decision about? That decision very much involves pushing our ideas of what balance, harmony, and fairness is, and opening up to the secrets necessary or the truth necessary for that to happen. Remember, the truth shall set ye free. Here's the last point I want to give you. Mercury at step 29. Oh, I need red for step 29. Step 29, which adds to an 11 if you want to know. So this is the Grandmaster step. The mind smartass is at the Grandmaster step. That means our minds are like when you see your hard drive blinking, you know what I mean? Like on your computer, like that's basically everyone's mind today. The 2 is what you feel, and the 9 is should I act or not. So basically every mind is like on that, like should I go, should I go, should I go, should I go? And you basically, the way to get over that is to relax the 2. You got to relax your feelings, calm your feelings down, and your mind will be pulled with whatever the feelings are. So whatever your feelings are, the mind will be pulled. The mind just kind of directed today, this morning, us to look at these 2 states. And I think that's how this works. We get directed, our attention gets directed by the planets. We have free will, we can look back, but most human beings don't. They stay wherever the universe pulled them for that day. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, they just want to point out all the 7th heaven going on over here. We got Neptune in its purebred 7. We got Chiron at 17, right? And of course, we got 7 going on today. So Spirit cannot say it enough. If you aren't getting intuition, you ain't listening. Okay? That's official. All right, so that concludes that little portion. I do want to always end the show with shout-outs. And today's shout-out goes to someone I'm very grateful for, Mr. John Edward. John Edward, who is a psychic medium, as you probably know. He's had a successful syndicated series. But he actually throws a little online streaming Christmas party on Christmas Day night. I'm so envious. I've always wanted to do something like that, but never had the ability. He's been doing it forever, and he was kind enough to invite me as a guest. So, my friends, I just want to say, pencil in your holiday greetings. Shout out to John Edward, and thank you to him and the Evolve team. I will be live on johnedward.net on Christmas Day night, hanging out with him and Katrina and the whole Evolve gang. And everyone is welcome to come. It's something free that John and Evolve does for humankind every Christmas, is to bring light. So if you find you want to do something, come on down. I've joked that I'll be wearing an elf suit, and since considering the response I've gotten, I may actually have to. So looking forward to that. Come on down. I'll be giving you more about that. By the way, it will be live at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern on johnedward.net. Shout out to johnedward.net today. All right, my friends, I'd love to hear from you. Come on and leave your comments at soulgarden.tv. Join the community of light that's growing every day. And leave your little mark. Say hello so we can bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday's show. Until then, remember, you are important, and you are a necessity wherever you are. So open your eyes and be bright. We're counting on you. I love you, and see you tomorrow with more. Until then, live, love, be.